Welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're a married couple in love that loves the Marvel Cinematic Universe so much, we went ahead and ranked our 100 favorite MCU characters. We did like a fireside chat and everything. It was lovely.
Yes, so we didn't really give ourselves any guidelines for this. What it was a gut reaction from each of us on these characters.
So this is our video for numbers 11 through 20.
And starting off is number 20, Sam Wilson, also known as the Falcon. So this character is such a pleasure to have in the MCU. He is funny.
Don't thank me.
I'm not thinking that thing.
His name is Redwing.
I'm still not thinking it.
He's cute. Go ahead, pet him.
He is loyal. He is a wonderful friend. And he's also an all-around great guy. I mean, there's not anything to not love about Sam Wilson as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, his relationship with Steve Rogers, their friendship, their dynamic is great. They have such a tremendous amount of respect for each other. And the fact that Steve gives Sam the shield and to take up the mantle of Captain America, speaks volume about this character. It's
probably a character that's even going to rise a bit further as we get to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, which will be coming out later this year on Disney+.
Number 19, M'Baku. This might surprise some people out there that we have M'Baku in our top 20, but for us, we loved this character a lot in Black Panther. He was someone that's just he's fierce and brave and tough, and it's a character that we normally wouldn't like because it's like, oh, he's like just this big hulking brute, but he's got charisma and he's got a sense of humor.
One more word and I will feed you to my children.
I'm kidding. We are vegetarians.
And he's very loyal to his people, not just Wakanda, but, to the Jabari tribe. Also, he is somebody that Bethany wants to see more of in a certain capacity.
Yes, I want a relationship between M'Baku and Okoye because I think those two are some badass characters. I think they would be evenly matched with each other, and I think that there's a lot to respect about both of them, and I just would love to see that.
I'm actually hoping M'Baku shows up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier because they are going to Wakanda in there, so we'll see if he shows up.
So next up is number 18, Nick Fury. It's probably no surprise that Nick Fury is high on our list because one, it's Samuel L. Jackson, and what's not to love about that actor, but also the fact that he is the mastermind behind everything. We would have no Avengers if it weren't for Nick Fury.
Number 17 is Peter Parker, Spider-Man. So Spider-Man has been my favorite comic book character ever since I was, 6 years old, 7 years old, starting reading comic books of his. I have boxes upon boxes of Spider-Man comic books.
It's true, I've seen them.
Yes, there are a lot. And, this version of Spider-Man is good, has a lot of great qualities to it. My favorite on-screen Spider-Man was in Civil War. They nailed the humor in that one.
You have a metal arm? That is awesome, dude! You have the right to remain silent!
They also got the reason why he was doing it.
Look, when you can do the things that I can, but you don't, and then the bad things happen, they happen because of you.
That's basically with great power comes great responsibility. That's just, just another way to say it. The reason this character hasn't ranked higher is because in his solo films, we haven't loved him as much. I don't know if it's just, different writers, Sony has a different vision for him, but it's a little bit angled more towards the teenage audience, and so we don't connect with it as much, and one of the reasons we love the Marvel Cinematic Universe so much is because we feel like it appeals to a broad range of people.
Next up, number 16, we are going back to Wakanda for one of my favorites, Okoye. So Okoye, I don't know if the writers of Black Panther would agree with us or not in our assessment, but for us, Okoye was the female lead in that.
Yeah.
She is fierce. She's a badass. She's got humor. She's incredibly smart. Her loyalty to Wakanda and to the throne.
Would you kill me, my love? For Wakanda? Question
is so moving to watch. There's just so many characters or so many qualities about this character to love, and I think even more so as a female audience member, to see someone that particularly badass is always enjoyable. But then to see her have to get dolled up in a wig and a fancy dress and how much she hates it is all the more the voice of so many of us women out there who are like, oh, gotta put on heels and do the hair and do the makeup, and I mean, it just makes her very relatable despite all of these facts that she's way unrelatable in being the badass head of security in Wakanda.
Number 15 is Star-Lord, Peter Quill. You know, just for his exceptional taste in music alone, Peter Quill Star-Lord makes this list. I like Star-Lord's humor. I think that also he is someone that grows a lot from when we meet him till, you know, to further on. He's willing to sacrifice himself for what ends up being someone that he falls in love with, which is Gamora. And then he's able to do something which is even, you know, harder, which is something that I couldn't do, which is sacrifice the person that he loves to save the greater good.
I like you.
For no other reason than his sick dance moves, Star-Lord definitely belongs in our top 20. Next up is number 14 and a personal favorite of mine, Wanda Maximoff. So she is also known as Scarlet Witch. She is arguably one of the most, if not the most, powerful Avenger in the MCU. She has incredible powers of telepathy and telekinesis, and she can manipulate people, she can make them see things, she can move them. One of the great qualities about her that I really love is that despite her being this all-powerful superhero, she is such an incredibly vulnerable human being. And that duality in her character, that contrast, is what really, I think, hooks us into her.
Number 13 on our list is Killmonger. So again, this is what, you know, we obviously love Black Panther. It was a good movie. Had a lot of our favorite characters in that movie. And this villain is probably maybe the most complex villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's a character that I think kind of parallels, you know, everyone was saying the Joker. It's like, oh, he's just a product of society. Well, Killmonger is as well. You look at him versus T'Challa, and they're both from a royal bloodline. And one was raised in Wakanda, you know, as a prince, and the other one had to fend for himself after his dad died in Oakland.
I think just the challenges and also the judgments that life places on an individual can have such a profound effect. T'Challa is seen as a born leader, and he grows up into being a born leader. He has so many people around him who are nurturing this, supporting this, guiding him. And then you have Killmonger, who is left on his own. He's growing up in the inner cities. There's obviously going to be some judgments placed on him as a black man in an inner city. That's unfortunately a part of our society here in America. He's got a real hard edge about him and a real chip on his shoulder. And I think we see that in every aspect of his character, including when he's even given the gift of power, and we see what he does with it because of where he's come from and what he's seen.
You know where I'm from. When black folks started revolutions, they never had the firepower or the resources to fight their oppressors. Where was Wakanda? You know, that ends today.
I think Killmonger is such an important character to storytelling in a broad respect beyond even the MCU, because it really is a lesson to us, and it's holding the mirror up to society and saying, is this what you want? And certainly if Killmonger had been raised differently, I think we can see that he did have a nobility about him and a strength of character about him and an intelligence about him that certainly makes us believe he would have turned out very differently. Next up is number 12, Thor, the God of Thunder. He didn't make it into our top 10, even though he's one of our core heroes. That might be a shock to you, but really that was because we didn't feel he hit his true stride until Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And once he did that, his humor, his intelligence, his charisma, everything kind of started to fall into place and just gel in this perfect way.
I think Thor in Infinity War and in Endgame was very impressive. In Infinity War, his scene with Rocket.
You know, I'm 1,500 years old. I've killed twice as many enemies as that, and every one of them would have rather killed me, but none succeeded. I'm only alive because fate wants me alive. Thanos is just the latest in a long line of bastards, and he'll be the latest to feel my vengeance. Fate wills it so.
And what if you're wrong?
Well, if I'm wrong, then what more could I lose?
Chris Hemsworth really stepped up his game in Thor Ragnarok and beyond with Thor. Number 11, it's kind of actually fitting that this character is number 11 and rounds out this list. It's Black Panther. So he had a lot of his cohorts and supporting members in this our top 20, and now we have T'Challa, Black Panther. He's someone that, you know, He carries the franchise, and he's a noble leader.
What are you doing? We don't do that here.
He's a fierce fighter. He's just cool and smooth and a badass.
We see him for the first time in Civil War, and getting that little glimpse of him and his father and their dynamic, and then how he copes with the loss of his father. I think the way a person deals with loss tells you a lot about that person. I think it's very indicative of what their traits are and their characteristics, and to see how he shouldered that pain and shouldered that burden.
Vengeance has consumed you. It's consuming them. I'm done letting it consume me.
So, that's our list so far for numbers 11 through 20. Go ahead and let us know what you thought about these characters down below in the comments, please. We love to discuss this with everybody, all the Marvel fans out there. That's why we're doing this and sharing our thoughts there with you.
Yeah, so if you agree with us, if you disagree with us, definitely let us know. Also, if you've just joined us and you're wondering why you saw numbers 11 through 20 of our top 100 list as your first film, check out the YouTube cards, because we've done 10 character installments for our entire top 100. So you can check out all the other ones and where they rank as well.
So those were our favorite MCU characters, numbers 11 through 20.
But they are definitely not definitive.